This is part 2 of the database challenge. In part 1, we built the user interface for a game over screen. This video, we're going to do the programming. So we've got the game over screen. I'm going to go to the block screen. First thing I want to do is some pretty basic programming, things you probably already really familiar with. We need a play again button that's going to bring us back to the beginning. I probably should have put an intro screen in here, but in this case we'll just go to the game screen here. Need a couple new variables. First one is going to be called score list. So let's get this set up here. Initialize variable. It's going to be called score list, and this is going to hold our list of scores that we're going to be able to display. And we're going to start off as an empty list. And then we need a new variable for the name, because you're going to add your name, or the user is going to be able to add their name to the score list. So we'll connect the score and the name and save those together. So that's the first thing we need to do. Next thing to do is we need to figure out how to retrieve the data that's already in our database. So we need to start off on the game over screen, which is all the way down here. And when it starts, I'll move these out of the way. All right. When the game over screen starts, we want to call local storage, and we want to get some data out of it. And the key that we're going to use, or where we're going to, essentially the key or the address where we're going to find our data, is we're going to call it top scores. And when it calls there, we actually want to check and make sure there's actually anything there in the first place. So we'll use a if else here, and we'll check to see if there's actually anything there. And so there is a block called null that's built in, but it doesn't seem to be functioning quite well, so we're just going to actually, seems a little odd, but this seems to work. We'll just type in null, which indicates that there's nothing there. So if there's nothing there, we're basically just simply going to set score list to an empty list, which is kind of already how we started, but just in terms of good coding, we need to get this in there. But alternatively, if there is value if there are values already sitting at the key top scores, we want to set our score list to those values. So now we've been able to retrieve it, and the last thing we want to do is we want to display what was in our what's going on here? List viewer. Here it is. From list viewer, we want to set our text items to now this value, which is the score list. Okay, so we've got that done. The last thing we now need to do is we need a way to save our scores to the we want to be able to save our scores to this local storage area. So when the save score button is clicked, first of all, we want to make sure that we're setting our value here, which is the name. We want to make sure people have written their name in. So we'll set that to the text. So now we've got a variable that's set to whatever the name of the user is. And then we're going to do something a little complicated here. So follow me on this one. We're going to need to add a value to the list. And so we're going to insert a value at this list, which is our new score. And so the list that we want to add to is the score list. And we actually are going to initially pop it in at the first position, or index 0, I guess, but we'll rather index 1. But we're gonna do an operation after this that's going to change it. So the next thing we actually need to do is we need to grab a join, and we can pull out one of these, and we need to add another area. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set this up so you can join the score that you carried over from the last from the game screen, and we're going to connect that to the name that the user put in, and we want an empty string here, and that's going to represent a space. So it'll be like score is 3 with a space 1, and what that's going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to sort this in descending order. So it'll be sorted by the highest score first, going down on our list here. So we're actually going to do something kind of interesting here. We're going to set our score list and there's a new block we're going to pull out here from the list menu. It's the sort numeric. So where is the sort numeric? There it is. Okay. So it starts off saying ascending. We're going to switch this to descending because we want the biggest ones on top. And so we're going to take our score list, we're going to sort it, and then we're going to take the new ordering, and we're just going to pop it right back in the score list. So we're changing. The values themselves are not changing in the score list, but we're just changing the order that they're sitting in the list to make sure that the highest score is on top. We'll set our list viewer from here to the score list because we want it to show the new list as we've got it. And then the last thing we want to do is store this list now that we've got it in the order that we want. We're going to use the key top scores, and the value that we want to save is the score list. Alrighty, that is the programming for part 2 of the database challenge. Good luck.